A few months ago, I sat down and I reflected on my own self-improvement journey. I asked myself very, very deep questions, and I sat down and reflected. At first, it was pretty quiet, and I didn't really come up with anything because usually when you do this, you get pretty bored, and then after a while, you will get some kind of aha moment and a realization. But I knew that that would come if I just kept sticking to this and I just kept up with the thing that I was doing. So I sat down in boredom, in complete silence, and I just kept up with staring at my wall and being bored. And I had these deep questions in my mind. After some time, I got that realization, and that realization was not necessarily just pointed at the thing, but it gave me a hint. I remember that I had heard a few quotes earlier about just self-improvement, and they were just normal quotes, because usually when you're on self-improvement, you often hear people talking about quotes, and these two quotes really changed my perception of self-improvement, and it can do to you as well if you actually stick to this and make sure to listen in. Because if I would have done that and actually applied this and thought to myself, how can I apply this, then this can be your aha moment, and you can realize that, yeah, this is the point where I'm leveling up. So the first quote that I heard was, "The heaviest things in life aren't iron and gold, but unmade decisions. The reason you are stressed is that you have decisions to make and you're not making them." The other quote went something like this: "One of my friends wakes up at 5 a.m. every single day of his life, and I've known him for 4 years, and I don't think he's missed a day. And we talked yesterday, and he said something that I don't think I've ever heard anyone say. He said, 'When I don't feel like getting out of bed at 5 a.m., I think about my 11 a.m. self and how I would feel at 11 a.m. if I didn't get out of bed.'" And that stuck to me so hard, because every single time that we're making decisions, we're not just making decisions for our current selves, but we're making decisions for ourselves in the future and the version of ourselves that will exist in 40 years. So something that is extremely important is just to keep these two quotes in mind when you're living your own life. The first quote was about decision making, and I had decisions to make and I wasn't making them. So that was a very clear one, because I remember that I wanted to start this exact YouTube channel, but I was scared of other people's opinions and that other people might find out and might see this and might laugh at this. So that was something that I was scared of. And the other one was about thinking of your future self. This is a lot more applicable for all of the people. If you just think for your future self and you have the awareness to think to the person who you're going to be in just a few hours, in a few years, or whatever it may be, if you can just think to yourself in the future, what will happen is you will make decision completely aware of the potential consequences and the outcomes that it will have. For example, when you're choosing something to eat, you're choosing between a healthy meal and an unhealthy meal. If you just think to your future self about this decision, then you can make a logical decision based on what you actually want to. Do I take the pleasure and just make my future self a little bit worse, or do I take the healthy meal and make a service to my future self? That is something that you've always got to define and make your own balance in that, because that can be a very, very tricky part of self-improvement. But if you just think more for your future self, what will happen is you will end up at a point where you're so aware of yourself and your decisions that you will be able to take control of where your life is heading. So let's state this: if you have a person who's very, very obsessed with this goal and they're thinking about their goal all of the time and they're not thinking about their future self, then what will happen is that they could potentially just don't feel happy when they've achieved that goal, because they haven't thought about their future self and they haven't made decisions based on how you would feel in the future. So that was just it. And I think that is extremely important of thinking to your future self. So if you have something that you are struggling with currently, just think to your future self and use that as fuel to just carry on and try to build up a little bit of momentum, and then you can carry it on from there on, because it's a lot easier when you have momentum, because momentum is just a fantastic thing, because you can build that up so quickly with this, and then you can just enjoy the wins in the future that will come from you thinking of your future self. So I really hope that you got some value out of this video, and just remember that take the action that is required for your own growth. In the end, it's your own life, and in the future, when you look back at this point, just try to take the decision that is required for you to feel proud of yourself and to be grateful for the current version of you. So do the thing that will make you proud of yourself in the future. And thank you for watching.